I was just casually flicking through the release notes for the new 2019.2 update for Inventor, which dropped a couple of days ago. I was just scanning through it as you do, going, right, okay, I'll look at all this a bit later, just usual tubing and pipe, a bit of freight watt. And then something caught my eye. I scrolled back up and I was like, frame generator contains the following before. File tab has new file naming defaults for frame generator. I was like, that's it. That is it. Overnight, in one fell swoop, Autodesk have made the frame generator now usable in a whole bunch of places that otherwise just completely gave up on it because it was an absolute nightmare with Autodesk Vault. You make 100 frames and the frame generator would give you just complete garbage for file names, which ended up giving you duplicate file names across Vault. It just wasn't feasible. And now it works. Now we can use this with Vault. This is amazing. It's a game changer. So let's hop on over to Inventor to see what it looks like. And it's going to be different for every company, and that's a good thing. I can't tell you how to use this because it depends on what your company does with frames. You might make them in-house or you might source them out to an external fabricator. So I can just show you what the tool does, how it works, and then just give you a quick demo of it, I guess. So what you do is you go over to, after you've put the 2019.2 update on, you go to File, Options, go to the File tab, and then at the bottom there's this new button here called File Naming Defaults. Now, I'm hesitant to label any criticism over this because, firstly, I am so happy with this, and round of applause for the Autodesk guys for putting this in and doing it so well. But there are a couple of things that I would have liked to have seen a little bit different. Autodesk would retort with, well, Neil, we never saw you in the beta. And I would retort with, true, yeah, I'm kind of busy. So, yeah, granted, I kind of criticise it too much because I didn't contribute in the beta. That's the time to suggest these things. But file naming defaults doesn't really give you any indication that this is for frame generator. It implies it's for all files, but it's not. When you go into here, this is explicitly just for the frame generator. So the button doesn't really give you any hints on that. But the fact that it's tabbed suggests that in the future they may add extra things here. Maybe bolted connections, maybe general files, who knows. But for now, it is exclusively the frame generator. Anyway, when you make a frame using the frame generator, you're given 3 file types, let's say. The first one is the parent assembly, where all the frames are placed underneath. And that was typically called frame-001 or frame-001 or something like that. It was the same name every time you made a frame in Frame Generator. So that was the first nightmare with Vault. You had to remember to give it a unique name, and you didn't know it was a unique name because you'd have to then go to Vault and search the entire Vault to make sure you're not giving it a name that's already in there. But now we can build file names for that and the skeleton part and all the individual frame members. This one here is the deal clincher. This is the money shot. Because if you're making 150 to 200, maybe 500 frame pieces, and you had to manually give them a unique number for every frame, it was a case of forget it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But now it really is. So you can now build a file name for each of these 3 file types based on attributes. And what is the absolute winner for the company that I work at is that you can use the parent assembly name as the prefix for your frames. That's it. For me, that's it. For you, might not be so much, but for me, that's it. So our frames, for example, would be, if this is the parent sort of general arrangement assembly that the frame's going to be going into, my frame would be named with that parent assembly as the prefix, and I can do that now using the assembly name as an attribute. So my frame would be AH8906, and then I can have free text here, so it'll be AH8906-FR- and then, for example, sequential number 001, 002, or whatever, or you don't even need to have that. You can just have dash frame if you want to, and then we've got a unique number, we've got the index number, or you can reset it back to the defaults. And then the same for the skeleton part. That's the little reference part it makes to hold all the frames together. You can build that up using attributes. And then the frames themselves, you've got a few more attributes here that you can use. And it's gathering these attributes from the family table in the Content Center library. So each frame family has got materials, it's got standard, It's got stock numbers, and these are all in the family table for each of the frames. So you can pull those properties out from the content center and then build the file name off of those. Whether or not these are customizable and you can add extra ones using XML editors, I don't know yet. I would doubt it, but that's what we've got to play with right now. But for me, I would just want my frames to be called AH8906-FR- and then 001, 002, 003, and so on. And I can do that, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. If you make a change to any of the frames in the future, you can tell it to overwrite the existing frames with the same number, or append a new number onto the end of it if you untick that box. And then this one here, this is one I would have preferred to have seen different. I would have preferred it if we just had the option to place all of the frames in the same folder as the parent assembly. But unfortunately, it forces you to put all the frame parts into a subfolder underneath the folder that the parent assembly is in. I assume that's to prevent you from creating files of the same name as what's already in that folder. So it's placing everything into a fresh folder that'll be empty. I think that's where they're coming from there. But I'd have preferred it if they'd just took the stance of, look, if that happens, that's your own fault. But never mind, it can't be done. So I've just left it as the assembly name, which will be that there. So it'll be folder AH8906. And yeah, that's what the folder will be. Right, so that's me building my file name. So when it comes to creating the frames, this is genius. You don't even need to create your own custom frames in your own custom library. You can use the standard ones. So we can go to insert frame. You get the same dialog box appear. So we can pick all of these from the standard content center library. I can use just a square frame and then standard size. And we can just start placing frames, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. Pick these up, them up, that, and then this cross member here. And what I've done is unticked this box here. And I know this is getting quite detailed, and I don't know how many people are going to kind of get this at this point, but each of the frames that it places, each one of these needs a part number, and how that part number is generated is entirely dictated by this tick box. If this tick box is ticked, the part number for all of the frames will be generated from whichever expression is created in the family table in the content library, which if you haven't tinkered with it and you leave this box ticked, your part number will be ISO 657/14-2000- blah blah blah, just a load of rubbish jargon. If you untick this, the part number will be the file name. And in my case, that's what I want. I want the part number to be the file name. And from what I've seen, it doesn't matter whether you tick this box or not. From what I've seen just by playing with it for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave it unticked. Anyway, I'm going to click OK. So we can see this is it. We've now got AH8906. This is the parent node of my frame, which is named after my parent assembly, -FR-001. The location is the subfolder AH8906, so it's inside the folder which was already called AH8906. So I've got a duplicate folder, but that's me. I did that on purpose. The new skeleton file name AH8906-skeleton-001, and then that'll go in the same folder again. Click OK, and then boom, there's all your frames created. And they've all now got their own individual file. Don't worry about the browser. This is another thing that I would have preferred to have seen differently. But if I right click on any one of those frames and go to the iProperties, you can see the part number is now AH8906-FR-001. And we are golden. If I save it, and then we'll head on over to Windows Explorer, and I'll show you the folder with the files in. So I'm just opening it up off screen. But right, so here we are. There's the folder, and there's all my frames. 100% Vault friendly. I've now got a unique number for the frame parent and all of the subparts, and I'm absolutely over the moon with that. That'll go into Vault no problem, with no conflicts at all. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So a couple of things that I would probably do myself from this point onwards, just to tidy it up. I don't like how the browser node is still the standard name. I'd have preferred that to have been the file name, like every other part is. I don't know why these are any different. So that there is that there. I don't know why it's been given a different browser node, but you can go into the subassembly, go to the assemble panel, go to the productivity, and then rename browser nodes, and then just change them all to the file name if you want to, and then it'll change them all to what they arguably should be. And then finally, this is the last bit of, it's not even criticism, it's just my personal preference. I'm pretty sure I made an Idea Station post about this years ago. Frame Generator will default this parent node to be a phantom BOM structure. So if you go into Tools, Document Settings, Bill of Materials, it's automatically set to phantom. I personally don't like that. I think that should be optional. So in the file naming options, it should give you the option of what you set this to be. Because if that's set as phantom, all of these frame members get promoted up above this into the parts list of this top level assembly. So when I call a bill of materials for this, all of these frame parts will be underneath here. I don't want that, because in the company I work at, for example, we would take this frame and source this separately as that. So this would be its own bill of materials. Therefore, this should be set to purchased. But anyway, that's something that we would have to do manually. We've got automation in place to sort that out anyway. But it would have been preferable if that node there, the BOM structure, was something you could set and prefix before you actually create frames. But anyway, I'm happy with that, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. Autodesk, well done. This is the last video I'm doing before I go over to Autodesk University in Vegas, and I am absolutely chuffed to bits that it's a good one, and I'm going over there on a high. So I'll thank the team if I see any. I will definitely see some of them when I'm over there. In fact, I think a couple of them are going to the class that I'm doing. So I'll thank them for this, because this is brilliant. Long overdue. There's going to be a lot of companies now that can use the frame generator. If they haven't already made their own automation and painstakingly had to customize it to suit their own needs, then this is going to enable the frame generator to be used in those places pretty much overnight. So well done, guys. Yeah, if you want 2019.2, it is a subscription benefit, so you do need to be on an active subscription to get at it, unless of course you source your Inventor from some dodgy places. But that's on you, mate. That's on you. Right, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one, mate. Toodles.